What up, folks? Welcome to Rave United. My name is DJ Lewis Love, and we have another segment of Meet the DJ. And today I'm very happy to announce we got Mr. DJ Kenny, who I have the pleasure to have met just scrolling through the Twitch channels, which Twitch right now is starting to blow up with some really talented DJs. And I'm lucky enough to get to have known Kenny, and he's coming on for an interview. I look, outside of his music that I see him mix, I don't know anything about him. And so I'm going to get to learn about him, and you are going to know about him too. And feel free to ask any questions. If you want to follow him, by the way, we're going to post the link to his Twitch channel on the bottom. It's MRDJKenny. That's Mr. DJ Kenny. And he's about to hit the partnership program, and probably he's already at that by the time we finish this interview. I don't know, but without further ado, Kenny, how are you?
Good, thank you. Thank you for having me, Louis. Appreciate you.
Absolutely. First of all, I want to say thank you for coming on in here and everything. I'm gonna ask you a little bit about like your DJ history and stuff like that. And if you run out of time, feel free to let me know. You know, I gotta go.
No. Everything is good. Thank you.
Yeah. So, man, first off, I noticed your accent compared to LA. I'm here in LA. Are you in New York?
Yes, I'm still in New York, born and raised in New York.
Nice. What part of it, if you don't mind me asking? I love the New York accent.
I was born in Brooklyn, and in '76 I moved to Queens, and now I'm residing out in Long Island.
Oh, awesome. And also, if you're watching this live, let me know that the audio and video looks and sounds good. It should be Long Island. Yeah, I noticed your accent is very similar to someone I really admire as a legend named Frankie Bones Mitchell and Adam X. Are you familiar with those guys?
Yeah, I know. I know Frankie Bones, yes.
Have you met them personally, by any chance?
No, I haven't, no.
Yeah, because I used to go to the raves, and those were among the first guys I saw. But okay, so when did you start this DJ journey of yours? How old were you, and do you remember like what year or anything?
I started hanging out with DJs in 1976.
Okay.
When I moved to Queens, the South Jamaica, Queens. My next door neighbor, they were DJs early on. I was about 10. And I was introduced to actually, they were like more of the early hip hoppers, you know, cutting up, similar to Grandmaster Flash. You know, they always say it started here, it started there, but you know, since I got to Queens in '70, it was there already. So it's hard for me to say where it really started. But
yeah,
in '76, I had people that were DJing, so I started carrying records, like everything else.
Do you remember what your first set of equipment was?
My first set of equipment was something simple, like, you know, like a receiver. And then I had like a Technique B10s or something, belt driven turntables.
Technique?
Yeah.
I had
speakers that were just regular, I don't know, Gem Sound, Gemini. I don't know what in those days. Because my first equipment was my first own equipment, like was around 81, 80, early 80s. Before that, I used to just play around with other people's equipment.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So yeah, I remember having my parents' stereo and like trying to do stuff with cassette decks there and just like destroying their stereo. And then I could tell you my first equipment was Realistic from Radio Shack. Rest in peace, Radio Shack. I see Tammy in the chat. I see Jalissa. We're here with Mr. DJ Kenny, from who I met through Twitch, but I'm sure his career is bigger than Twitch. Twitch is a brand new thing, actually, with the DJ program, but DJs have been on there for a very long time. Do you remember, so your music first what was your music style?
My music style was, like I said, like anything that you heard in the early days by Grandmaster Flash.
Master Flash.
Just two records and just cut up everything we used to play. We used to cut up in the early '70s. So if I used to put on Good Time, like Chic,
yeah,
you know, good. We used to cut it up, like Dance to the Drummer's Beat. Apache, like break beats, anything with a beat where you could cut. Basically,
Excellent.
got to be real. Cheryl Lynn, Ring My Bell, and so on. There's so many different Super Sperm. I mean, and the list goes. And it's probably before your time. Actually,
Actually, bro, thank you very much. But we're kind of almost the same age.
I'm actually gonna be 60 in January.
We're almost the same age, brother. I
So
just have a Colgate smile. That's it.
yeah.
Hey, what's up, DJ Houseboy? What's up, DJ Kenny? He says in the stuff. Welcome in. So let's talk about, okay, so late 70s. Now you said 76. Um, how did the music start evolving for you into the 80s? And like, I guess like the thing would be, how was there a progression with your career to house music, or because I know with me it was breakdancing music, then it went to kind of like that Divine Bobby O. I don't know if you're familiar with that.
Yeah, I remember that.
And
Yeah.
then
So yes, it went through the break beats, like in the streets. Basically, I DJ'd or helped. When I first started trying to DJ, was out in the streets. Hey, what's up, houseboy? Yeah, out in the streets of Queens. We used to go. What they used to call back in those days were jams. That's what we used to call them in New York.
yeah,
They just pack up the equipment and go into a park or a schoolyard and actually tap off the light poles and just play music.
absolutely,
Play
absolutely.
music. So from that type of music, I mean, I played that stuff. Well, that's the first stuff I played for a while until I actually moved to Puerto Rico in like around 1980. And when I got there, it's funny because I met DJs over there in Puerto Rico in 1980, but it was a whole different thing. The salsa, the merengue, and then they used to play club music, so it was a whole different thing.
Are you
So then when
Boricua?
huh?
Are you Puerto Rican?
Yeah, my parents were born in Puerto Rico.
Oh,
Yes.
okay. I was just I don't know if you were Italian, like DJ Nick's here in the mix
No,
right now.
no,
What's
no,
up,
no.
brother? What's up, brother?
Yeah.
DJ Nick's in the house. Nick's in the mix. We have his interview up there
What's up, Nick?
as well on Nerd Report. Man, you got a lot of fans coming on here. That's great.
DJ
That's
Blades, what's up?
What's up? What's up, guys? Welcome in. Make sure to subscribe, folks. We go to different events and interview different DJs. I'm very fascinated with Kenny here because, man, I've been seeing your mixes. You put on some really good stuff. So you went. When did you like? Okay, so now let's get into the mid, because I'm always fascinated being here from LA. I asked the other DJs from other states the same kind of questions too. Is in the early 80s, mid 80s, what was your music influence? Because we in LA, I went through these weird transformations. LA has its own vibe, New York had its own vibe. And back then, when the internet was not around, we didn't know what the hell people were doing. In New York, even Chicago was kind of weird for us. Like what? There's no way to communicate unless you caught these people on the phone. So mid 80s, what is the vibe for you?
Actually, early 80s.
Early 80s, yeah.
82, 1982. I was in high school. I came back to New York. I was in Queens. I went to Hillcrest High School, and there I met actually the biggest break dancers in Queens. Actually, one of the biggest break dancers in the city at that time, the Dynamic Breakers.
Nice.
We started hanging out, and of course, I started DJing again. And my first club that in 1982, we started hanging out in a place called Bonds International, where the resident DJ there was Kenny Carpenter. And he was friends with everybody else. Like he was friends with Larry Levan. He was friends with Frankie Knuckles. He knew everyone. So the influence that his music in the club was almost identical to the garage. I never went to the Paradise Garage because it was hard to get in, like for a normal person. I didn't know anyone because it was a membership, and a person that had a membership, they could have brought in, you know, 10 people with them, but I never got that connection. I used to hang out in front of the garage.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, just to listen to the music, but it was Bonds International. I went there from, I don't know, the whole year, like almost every weekend from January until March of 83. So basically early club music. Everything they used to play at the Paradise Garage, they played at Bonds. From Michael Jackson to Prince to, and the list goes on.
Yeah, those are great times. There's some documentaries here on YouTube. You can kind of like see what happened back then, but a lot of that history, unless you all get people like you share it, it just
welcome in, Idalia. Love you.
Done. What's up? Man, that's great. You got a lot of fan base.
Hey, Danielle, welcome in.
Yeah, you're loved, man. Look at that. DJ Nix in the mix. So mid, let's go now. So you said early 80s, let's go mid 80s. Or actually, when did you just fall in love with house from there on, or did you start to expand?
Like I said, 82, 83, I stopped going, Bonds closed up. I started going to the fun house where John Jellybean Benitez used to play.
Yeah.
And his style of music was a little different. There was a lot of more break dancers, and he played a lot of different stuff. But I continued listening, and I started really DJing a lot. And I had a friend that actually owned the club, and in Queens, Lemoore East, and actually it was a lot of freestyle. So when early freestyle came out, I don't know, 84, 85, we were up on that. And
Latin freestyle, you mean like
freestyle, like
TDK?
Like a TKA and Noel and everything from the beginning, anything from the beginning. And as soon as house music came out, I was on it. Like I used to buy the records, track records, everything was anything to do with house. I was at the record store. We used to go to a place in the village in the city in Manhattan called the Vinyl Mania.
Yeah.
And that was the spot where every big DJ in the city used to go to. Larry Levan used to go there. Frankie Knuckles used to go there, hang out, listen to music, talk to the guy. His name was Manny behind the booth there. But I had a lot of records. I got rid of them. I mean, I recorded most of them, but I was up on a lot of house music.
There's a lot of those records are gone, man. Like, I mean, like I used to work at a record store as well here on Melrose. And I remember the white labels, they used to come in, they were phenomenal, but a lot of those are just like, we don't know who produced them, and it's just, they're gone. A lot of good tracks are probably like sitting somewhere in someone's garage, like they'd never be heard.
There wasn't some of them weren't really pressed that good either.
No. Well, that's great.
Great.
It's funny you bring tracks up because they were notorious for
they were horrible,
but it was part of the sound.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? So when we hear the modern house music, some of it sounds too clean. Like when it sounds too clean, I'm like, yeah, it's good, but
yeah. When I got the first time I got the Marshall Jefferson, gotta have house music. And I played it, and I heard the crackle. I'm saying, man, that's a brand new record. I already hear that's the way it was made, with the crackle already in it.
On purpose?
I believe so. I had several copies, and I had like 3, and then I always had people that used to give me records, but I had like 3, 4 copies of the same track, and it always had the same funny sound in the beginning. It wasn't clear, but it was 1985, 85, 80. Jojo, welcome in. ¿Cómo estás? Yeah, it was in the beginning.
Yeah, I remember the Miami stuff was pretty bad too, but it gave it a vibe. I don't know if you were familiar with the Merc stuff.
Yeah.
It just sounded like shit in a good way.
Yeah,
It
yeah.
just- it was weird, man. It sounded good in
I
a
mean,
good.
it's still pumped. I mean, once you had it in the system, I mean, it's still pumped.
Yeah.
You know, that bass line or whatever still hit. It always
So
hit.
you got rid of all your vinyl, and were you hesitant to go digital at first, or like
No, no, no. I wasn't one of those.
yeah,
You know, I switched over. I got into being here in New York. I got into a lot of different music. Actually, you know what? I felt that music after I was so hooked on the 80s, with everything in the 80s when really in the beginning of the 90s, I really believed that music was shit.
beginning of the
Like
90s.
yes, yes. From I mean, in my opinion,
Mm,
I wasn't feeling it. So I got into other stuff. I got more into, I mean, I was always into salsa because it's in the blood, but I got
correct.
more into salsa in the 90s. I got more, I started doing a lot of Latin parties. I started doing a lot of, because in New York, we have a lot of Latins here. So
Yeah.
salsa, merengue, when bachata came out, early reggaeton, I started getting into all that other stuff. I mean, I still played like dance music, but I didn't actually get back into it until like the whatever I'm into now. I didn't get back into it until the 2000s actually.
See, that's fascinating to me, and that's one thing that Nick's in the mix. I was asking him about that too, and then because in the early '90s, that's when because see, late '80s, we had Black Box, we had I think I want to say Inner City, Good Life. We
Yeah,
had some
yeah.
really good house music, and kind of like flirting. They call that techno. Some people call that techno, right? But then in '91 like I don't know, man, this techno sound came from Europe that I was like, what the hell is this? This is amazing. And
Yeah, I
that's when you
wasn't
guys started
into it.
playing
I
raves.
wasn't into it early on. I wasn't into
Mm.
techno.
Not even
Like
like
I said, I
T99
was
or anything like that.
actually like I started exploring music. I was listening. Actually, I started expanding my. I started listening to rock. I still listen to dance music, but like I said, salsa, merengue, bachata, and all different types of music.
Yeah,
I
Julissa says, "Oh man, the early '90s music was pretty good." Yeah, I think it depends on honestly, it depends on your own life experience. Like music is culture, right, Kennedy? Would you agree with that? Like it's your culture, your community.
I agree with it. Depending on where, yeah, you know what? I was born and raised in New York, and in what I call it, because I still went out, I still did parties, I went out to the clubs. But in the 90s in New York City, we had what I call a Latin boom.
Yeah.
The first Latin radio station on FM came out called La Mega F 98.7 La Mega.
Uh-huh.
And they still on the radio. And when they hit, it was like a cultural change for Latins in New York.
Yeah. I saw a movie called In the Heights. Do you know what movie that is?
In the
It's
height.
pretty much it was a Warner Brothers made it because I also cover films and they did the guy is a Latin guy that does the music and it's all about Puerto Ricans and Dominicans and Latinos in New York and the culture and the music. But I was so disappointed that they didn't touch on house music. And I kind of like tweeted at them and go, bro, if you're doing the culture of New York, you got to do house music. And is house music big in New York? Like would you say it's made an impact in the culture there? It's got to be, right? Or do
Yeah,
we
I mean,
yeah.
because like I believe that the music from New York was an inspiration to house music. When they started putting it out in Chicago, the inspiration definitely came from New York. I mean, Frankie Knuckles was a New Yorker. I mean, they just gave him a club, so he just got up and left. I mean, almost anyone would do
I
that.
get what you're saying.
So he was always hanged out with Larry Levan. When he got offered the warehouse, he got up and left. But everybody put him up on house music. House music was big in the 80s. With the change of music in the 90s and in New York with the cultural change of bachata hitting and salsa hitting bigger and merengue getting, it was a whole different thing in New York. But house music was always here. Like,
Yeah.
whatever 90s house music, it was here because the clubs that I used to go to in the 90s, there were multiple genres. So they used to play a little bit of everything. An hour of this, an hour house, an hour free, they were constantly going around. I mean, there were some clubs with multiple floors. So you had a Latin floor, you had an English floor, just like Webster Hall. I don't know if you ever heard of Webster Hall.
I
Webster
have
Hall.
not. No.
Okay, Webster Hall was a theater, like a movie theater, and they converted it to a club, and it had like 4 different dance floors. It had Latin, it had the big room, it had classics in the middle room, and downstairs they had hip hop, reggae. Like you said before, depending where you live, New York is such a variety of different people, different genres. Like I said, between the salsa, merengue, bachata, reggae, calypso, soca, house, freestyle, and everything goes on. Like everything, all types of music lived here in New York. It
Yeah.
wasn't specifically, now there's not in the city, but everyone that appears here in New York, Brooklyn is a spot now in New York. But they still play like the old time is the Little Louis Vega and David Morales. They still play here in New York.
Yeah, I see them.
House music is big here in New York. Like everything else, it's still big here in New York.
Yeah, LA, I don't know. Maybe I'm in the wrong places, but LA's never really had was being so many. I don't know, man. Like I feel like music doesn't come from here. It's just trash. There's probably like I could pick out less than 5 tracks that have really made a cultural impact in the house music genre.
The West Coast had influences like early on because they had like that early funk music. Like all that stuff from Soul Train, they played all that stuff here also in the clubs.
We had NWA, which NWA was doing. They were doing electro. If you look at the late '80s or mid '80s, like Dr. Dre, Eazy-E, the Egyptian Lover, which I know you're familiar with those guys. They were doing some amazing electro, but most of those guys, not Egyptian Lover, he's still making electro. Which is like a kind of if it's breakdancing. For those that don't know, it's breakdancing, kind of like Kraftwerk influence sound. But all those guys that are like hardcore hip hop gangster, they were all dance music wearing makeup.
Yeah, I mean that hit over here. I remember when. I mean, I have that. I have the CD. I remember, I wasn't big on. On that gangster type stuff.
Now we're here.
So I really didn't, I listened, I had a couple, but I wasn't really.
And that's a great part about house. That's a great part about house. I never felt like it's a gangster thing. And it's really a melting pot, Kenny. Because, I'm talking, if you go on, even on Twitch or whatever, if you're new to that, if you're new to house music, you'll see all cultures really DJ wise or watching the shows and everything. And let's talk a little bit about your show. Because I see right now, I usually watch it, and the green folks is there because it's all special effects, but usually there'll be some awesome visuals and everything like that there. Let's talk a little bit about your Twitch show. How did you get into that? How's it going? How long have you been in there? And
we started during the pandemic in 2020. So, everyone was in the house, during the pandemic. I mean, I was in the house. I mean, I had COVID early on in March of 2020. I had COVID for like 5 weeks, 6 weeks. And then I started playing. I mean, I always played music. Even if I played for myself, like I would turn on the equipment and play. Then I decided to, go on the internet, and I started playing on Facebook. I think I started, but they were cutting me off.
Oh no, I was gonna say that. As soon as you said Facebook, I was gonna say, oh no.
Back in those early days, like in 2020, like those platforms, they will cut you off. They will send you like a warning, and then they will cut me off.
Yeah.
But then when I got introduced, I'm not really sure how I found Twitch. I guess just by strolling the internet, or I'm not really sure. Honestly, I don't even know. I know I came upon it like in the middle of 2020. I think I started like in either June or August, and then I became an affiliate in September. So, I started searching the web and searching on you, and I met some people in the beginning. And I met Nick early on in 2020. I already met Nick. I had met DJ Houseboy. I met DJ Sun Blaze from the very beginning. Like I said, Nick in the Mix. I met Steve Disco Newsome.
Nice.
And a couple of different people. I met this other guy named Mike Marquez, and he kind of gave me some advice here and there, like everyone else. And another one that helped me early on was DJ Strobe. He was out in Canada. Actually, he's the one that like sat with me like we're doing now and helped me set up the green screen. DJ Strobe up in Canada.
I gave up on my green screen. It always looks like garbage. I can forget it, man.
So I've had it since the beginning, almost.
Yeah,
since 2020.
So you've enjoyed steady growth there. There's also like some advice for people who are on there. It does get frustrating, right? Maybe it's like sometimes you have a million people watching.
You just gotta,
yeah.
I mean, early on, I work and whatever else, and I wasn't consistent. But if anyone's consistent, they could grow their channels. But you have to. Sometimes they say it's good to make a schedule. So I kind of started doing that, and I think that helped a little bit. Even if you commit one day a week to say, "Oh, I'm going on at this time," I mean, the more the better. But if you commit to something, it'll work out. I've seen it. With different people, they put a schedule, they just keep streaming, and they become, they grow.
Yeah.
They grow. Like Nick always had Monday at 6 p.m. Every Monday at 6 p.m. And even if that was his only schedule, so Nick was coming on every Monday at 6 p.m. Eastern, and that helped him slowly grow. And now he's a partner.
Yeah.
We worked this out. There was ways of now that raids count towards your viewership is obvious it was better. But
raids, you mean, or raids count?
Raids. When you get raided, it counts towards your viewership now. Since the DJ partnership that they started last year, they implemented that. So if you get a raid, that counts towards your numbers.
And now to be clear, and let me know if you disagree with me. Us DJs, we want to DJ on Facebook. We want to go on YouTube. We want to go on different platforms. We get those copyright notices, right? We get the takedowns. We want the artists to get paid. We don't mind that, but it's up to the platforms to set that up. We can't set that up. Twitch went ahead and set that up. On the most part, there are a few tracks you cannot play, but it's really not my genre. There's I think some Madonna, Prince you can't play. But that being said, would you agree with me that from the start, this is what DJs want? We want to have a partnership with the labels. It's fair for the artist to get paid.
Yeah, everyone should make some kind. I mean, I agree. Everyone should make money off of it. And it was a good idea. They did it. I mean, if you go on Twitch, you see the list that they have there doesn't really pertain to us.
No.
If you look at the list, like you said, they have Rihanna, they have Jay-Z,
Stevie B too. That's kind of weird. Stevie B has a few tracks you can't play.
Yeah, so there's a list there, so you could go back and look, and just don't play it. I mean, if you're on the program and you happen to play it, I don't think they'll take it. If you keep doing it, then I think. But someone that's not on the DJ program and plays, I've seen them get suspended. I've seen them get suspended for like 1 day. Yes.
I saw one guy get suspended.
I know someone, he played Rihanna, and then he went live. Like he went live the next day, and he was suspended for 1 day.
Oh,
he wasn't on the DJ program.
Oh, Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
that's the thing. You have to be on the DJ program, and you could, if you're not on the DJ program, you'll get suspended for 1 day.
What's the most people you've had on? Like watching at once, you know.
Maybe like around
2,000?
200,
200,000? I think you've
something
had
like
more
that.
people than that watching.
Yeah, I think I've maxed out around
I
two
think it's
something, 200, something like that.
I but I
I'm saying like actual viewers. I mean, they got this other category called like unique viewers and this viewer.
oh
I mean,
yeah.
those numbers are much higher, but actual on, counted on the chat has been like two something, 225, 250,
You're
something
almost on
like
the
that.
partner program and you're just like or are you on there yet? Are you
No,
on
no, I haven't made partner yet. I unlocked everything that says partner on Twitch, but it's just more than just unlocking. Just when you see everything unlocked, you assume, but no, there's still more to it.
Yeah, I
There's
don't
still,
even I'm not even thinking of getting there, man. I'm still
yeah,
struggling
there's
to get
still more
400.
to it. I mean, you need you need to average 75. So whatever you see, whatever I seen that was unlocked was the common stuff that they actually put there. But then if you go on the bottom, there's additional stuff on the fine print that you
Oh,
have to
no.
also get. But the streaming 25 hours a month, I've that streaming on 12 different days a month, and averaging 75, like all that got unlocked. But then you need 16 streams of 75 or above in the prior 60. They want eight streams in the prior 60 and 8 streams in the prior 30. So you need 16 streams or more to really finish it off.
Yeah, I'm not even, dude. I could barely get 7 people to watch. I don't know. I mean, maybe I have to get some fake boobs or something. I have no idea what the key is, but I don't know. Hey, Nick's did it, so, but he's got big boobs. I gotta say, no, just kidding. No, he's got some excellent music. What advice would you give? Do you get frustrated? Do you get frustrated when you see like people that maybe, and this is, I'm asking for myself as advice from you as a DJ. Do you get frustrated when you see people that started off a week ago and have like a million viewers? Because it seems like some people do get pushed to the front. Or am I imagining things?
Yeah, I would say so. Not to sound, but I believe, and I've seen it,
Yeah,
from fact that depending, like some females might have an extra push,
yeah,
considered like us regular men DJs.
yeah.
Some female, is obvious, the men like to watch, a nice looking female, even though they can't mix.
There's some really good female DJs and male
Yeah,
DJs
no,
and
yes, yes.
everything on
I
there.
mean,
And then,
there it's
okay, I will say this: they're not the really good female DJs are not getting the views. I've looked at it. I've subbed to some that are so amazing, and guys too. This goes both ways. And then I'm seeing who gets pushed to the front. And I'm like, this is weird. But whatever. I don't know. I don't want to. I don't want
yeah,
to.
like I said, I've watched a lot of, and different genres. Like on the progressive side of progressive melodic that type of music, there's a DJ in the UK, DJ Sarah Hall, very very good,
Yeah.
really really good, mixes, straight up mixes, no flashy stuff, just straight out music. House wise, there's one that catches my ear from Spain, Mary Blue. Always plays good house music.
On
House
Twitch.
Yes, Mary Blue. She's from Spain. But like I said, the list goes on. I
Amy
like
Alexander. I love Amy
DJ Latina girl from
Alexander.
Florida.
Yeah. Yeah.
She plays variety of music. Sometimes people they're stuck on a certain genre. Like they only play this, they only play that, and
I,
I like to listen to a little bit of everything. I like to listen to a little bit of all types. There's so much different types of house music. It's crazy, between all these genres, between the deep, the house, the Afro, the melodic, the progressive, organic, the techno, the trance. I mean, and the list goes on. I mean, there's so much genres. You jacking house, funky house,
right.
regular house, classic house.
Disco.
You got the disco, you got the soul funk disco, you got a new disco. I mean, it just keeps going. You got tech house, you got minimal, you got tech, deep tech.
You
I
got
mean,
garage, which
yeah,
is house.
garage. That's like in the UK,
But
UK
hey,
garage.
I gotta say something though about garage. I like it, okay, but it's from New York. It's not UK. Armand van Helden invented that shit. It's Armand van
I
Helden.
mean, see now that name garage has a different meaning to like when I
Armand.
say garage, I'm thinking about Larry Levan, the
Oh yeah,
Paradise
you're talking about
Garage.
the garage. Yeah,
Yeah,
the
I'm thinking,
garage.
and now they changed the meaning of garage. To me, I when I say garage, I always think about the Paradise Garage and Larry
Yeah, no,
Levan
I get what you're saying.
and all that music from the early '80s.
Yeah, you're
They
saying
they changed the meaning of garage.
the club garage. Have you ever
Yeah.
seen any documentaries on disco demolition?
What is
Uh,
what is that?
I need watch that. We'll come back and I want to get your reaction. Disco demolition. I think it was 1978 where they burned all the disco records.
Oh yeah, yeah, I remember that. That was in Comiskey
Chicago.
Park in Chicago.
Yeah,
Yeah, I remember that.
I think that I was gonna do and I know it would piss off people. I was gonna do a documentary here and say the godfather of houses. I forgot the name of the DJ, Steve Dahl, who because it was his arrogance that started house music because he decided to burn every disco record and he hates disco. So I wanted to label him as the reason house and disco is still alive.
I mean, disco didn't disappear. I mean,
Oh,
disco
it didn't
didn't
disappear.
disappear. Dance music didn't disappear
No,
after
no,
that.
no. It
It-
actually got bigger.
yeah, it got bigger and actually rock declined.
Rock, look, I like
Rock is rock, always gonna be around, but
that.
actually after that, like in the early '80s, I mean, it was still big, but it declined a little bit. The era of the long hair disappeared, and all this other stuff because I follow music. I follow
Well,
rock
also
music.
us, we can't really do the long hair thing because Nick's, you and I, like, we're like fucked with that, dude. So it's kind of good. The long hair look went out, but I remember back then the we used to call them like hair bands. The fans of the hair bands, like those guys used to always laugh at my music. Oh, you're playing house, it's disco and this and that. And now I look at them, I still know some of them, and I go, dude, your music died. It was a fad. You told me my shit was a fad, but in all funds. So Nick's here is saying, I see multiple DJs suspended for not being in the DJ program. I know there's a guy I do kind of watch. Liquid Todd got suspended for one day for playing a song that wasn't out yet. And it's weird because I play songs that are like off the grid all the time, like that are like
probably something popular that's unreleased. You might get flagged for.
Julissa says, thank God hairbands went out. You're not into the hairband, Julissa. Julissa, a long-time watcher here. Thanks for supporting.
How you doing, Jalissa? Thank you for stopping by.
Awesome. Yeah, I've had she's shown up on my stream, and I'll give you Kenny's link right there too. So right now, what is your vibe right now? Is it house, like if nothing's changed, or is there something you're
more than I think is house more than ever because
yeah.
You know what? I love the era that we're in house music right now. Especially with all these categories. I'm soulful house, deep house, Afro house. I mean house, whatever category you want to call it, because there's a category for everything. House, and then everything else after that. Melodic house, organic house, progressive house, and then you got Afro, what I call Afro progressive. But I like all of it. I like all types of music. I still,
Yeah.
yeah, I still like the jacking house, the funky house. I mean, I still like the classics. Is obvious. Never get enough of the classics. Disco classics, the house classics, club classics, anything in the 80s,
You
and
know
stuff
what's
from the 90s. Like I've revisited stuff from the even that I wasn't really into it in the 90s. I revisited back into the 90s, and I have most of it. Like I'm a big collector of music, so I went back and I got most of some of the stuff that I didn't have. So I have a nice collection of 90s house. But I think that the era we're living in with house music is very good for, multiple genres, good music in every genre.
Yeah, it's
There's a lot of good
crazy.
music in every genre.
You know what blew me away is a few years ago, I went to a big festival here, put on by Insomniac, because I don't know if you're familiar with Insomniac. They're the EDC people, and a lot of the people, they're way younger than I am, in 20s, and the DJ dropped gotta have house music, what is it, Marshall Jefferson,
Yeah, Marshall. Yeah, yeah.
and I heard it starting to mix in, and I'm like, wow, is he like gonna play this? Wow, okay. Like, and the crowd went, I wasn't sure how the crowd was gonna react. The crowd went crazy.
Yeah,
Like,
I've noticed that
woof.
since like in the 2000s or whatever, that more people are into, like, they're into everything. I mean, I went to a club called Body and Soul and it was I went to what they call the closing party. So it was the last, they were closing up.
Yeah.
And I went, Danny Krivitz, I don't know if you're familiar with Danny Krivitz, Francois K, Joe Cassell, Little Louis Vega was there,
Yeah.
and Kenny Dope was there. So all 5 DJs. So it was actually on a Sunday afternoon from 12 p.m. to like 2 a.m. So I'm there. I go there with my wife, and we walk in the place around 2 p.m. in the afternoon. And walking through was like a dark tunnel. Finally got to the dance floor, 2 o'clock in the afternoon. Place was packed. Never seen anything like that on a Sunday afternoon. And they were playing classics.
Yeah.
Like they went through like so much. They went through 70s, 80s, 90s classic house, like club classics, like disco. I mean, it was like crazy. I couldn't believe it. I mean, they played James Brown, and the place was different age groups, and everybody went crazy. Like you said, people went crazy.
Yeah.
Even that was 2004, I believe that was. But still, when you play James Brown, I mean, that's like you're talking about 70, you know?
Yeah, absolutely. I like the old Michael Jackson too, Jackson 5.
Yeah, yeah.
Can you feel it?
Can't stop till you get enough. Even before that, off the wall. No, I think that was his.
Off the Walls, I think is 80s. I'm
Yeah,
not
yeah,
sure.
yeah,
But all
yeah.
Michael Jackson, a lot of Michael Jackson's really well done, rooted in some great bass lines.
Yeah, I remember in Bonds they used to play
Billie Jean.
They used to play Billie Jean, and I want to get started something.
Yeah.
And I remember he used to rock.
What's your schedule on Twitch right now for people listening?
Right now, I really don't have a set schedule because I'm on a partner push,
Yeah.
and I want to get through that first, and then I'm going to come back to a schedule.
What does that mean? What do you mean you don't have a schedule because you're in a partner push? Are you on every day, or are you just on?
No, I created, like, I did create a schedule, but I don't have a steady schedule where I could say, oh, this is my schedule,
Right.
But my next stream, like, I might do a pop-up tomorrow. Like, I might.
Yeah.
But my next in December, I kept when I asked Nick, I said, okay, let's plan something out. I want to know where you at because I wanted Nick to get to partnership.
Yeah.
So we planned it out. So I said, okay, I do multiple raid trains. So I said, okay, what's the best one? Is obvious. It was Monday, the melodic Monday. So I said, okay, we used to do that every other week. So then starting in January, I said, okay, let's start doing it every week. You go on 6 o'clock every Monday, and I was going on then we changed the schedule a little bit. I was going on at 12. So I had a steady schedule for me at 12, and we were doing 3-hour sets. So I was playing every Monday from 12 to 3. Nick was playing from 6 to 9 every Monday, and it worked. I got someone in between, and he became a partner in the beginning of March. He got the check mark. And everything else that he did in between, anything else that I planned, everything worked out. Everything worked out.
Now, I think it's Monday. There's a big event going on, which is Nick's is going to get on the front page.
Yeah, Nick is going to be on the front page, and he's going to raid me I'll be on at 6 p.m. Monday.
Can we get everyone watching to do that? I got what time are you going to be on Monday?
I'm going to be on at 6 p.m. Eastern on Monday.
This coming Monday, which is
Nick is going on at 3 p.m. until 6 p.m. and then he's going to raid me. And then at 8 p.m. I'm going to raid him back, and then he's going to play from 8 p.m. and so on, maybe to 11 p.m.
And that's the 21st.
That's the 21st. What Nick is on the front page. 8-hour front page slot.
Well deserved for both of you guys.
Hours.
We're well deserved for both of you guys. Now, I want to ask, it was amazing getting to know you here. Meet the DJ here with Mr. DJ Kenny. Is there anything else you want to? I'm going to give you the floor, man. Like anything you want to do, you could have a minute, an hour. I don't give a shit. Whatever you want to say, whatever you want to promote as we close off this interview. Anything I missed that you wanted to get off your chest or talk about? All good, man. What do you want to? You got the floor.
Basically, like streaming wise, whoever wants to get off streaming, just be yourself, play good music. If you want to be more consistent, if you want to grow your channel, it's a good idea to make a schedule. Try to keep it. Just go on. Don't worry about the numbers because, when you start looking at numbers, in the beginning, when you're streaming, you might get frustrated. You might get, there's a lot of things that might go through your head. You might say, "Oh, I'm not gonna stream anymore." But but just anyone that's into Twitch or any platform, just keep on doing it. Just do it if you're in for the love of music, whatever it is.
Yeah.
The numbers, they come slowly. They don't come quickly. Some people got an impression. Some people might get lucky. It's a little bit of luck. I mean, I don't know how other way to say it, but it might be a little bit of luck, or you get a couple of raids, and then people will start seeing you more. But it's a slow process. It's very slow. It's not something that you can't expect to hit. Just enjoy. People, I see people streaming and they got like no life to them. Like they just standing there and just going through the movements. I'm not sure if they're into the music. I'm into the music no matter what. I play. I even whatever. I can't just stay. I just can't stand there and mix. For 2 hours without throwing a step down or something, or throwing.
I know what you're saying. I see some people that I look at their shit. They're like on for 15 hours, bro. I don't know. Maybe they're tired. I don't know.
I see there's a lot of people that they'll do strongly. That helps. You think I've never done the longest stream I've done was 6 hours.
I've done 5.
I did a 6-hour stream with my brother out in Florida, JR Feliciano. Big shout out to him. And we were we did a stream, 6 hours of us together doing a stream. Actually, I was there not too long ago, and we did a 4-hour stream together.
Nice. Yeah, oh yeah, I
So
saw that. That was good. You were there for the
yeah,
LA music. Well, we used to call it the
yeah,
music.
yeah. I was there for the. I didn't get down to Miami because we were in Clearwater. We were far away.
Your Clearwater by
Clearwater from
Scientology.
Miami is it's like a 5-hour drive.
Here's your page. Listen, you guys got to tune in. Let's help get them to 4,000 subs. Maybe like on the after review. Are you guys watching after and stuff? You could look for it yourself.
Yeah, I'm close. I'm getting close to 4,000 followers.
Yeah, and look,
4,000 followers.
it's twitch.tv/ MRDJKenny. Okay. So that's that, you got to spell it out if you don't got the link. I'll post a link on the bottom.
Hey, Matthew, welcome in.
Is that true?
Yeah, that's my son.
Is it?
Yes.
Oh, nice. All right. You got Dr. Doom right there. Yeah, you ready for the Fantastic Four movie that's going to be coming out? They have a new trailer today, by the way. I don't know if Dr. Doom's in there, but oh, real quick before we go, what could you talk about the equipment you have in front of you?
Right now, I'm playing with my mixer is the Pioneer DGM 900 Nexus 2.
Okay.
I have a pair of the Cross 12s. So I'm using the Cross 12s with the Serato.
Okay.
It could be used Serato or Record Box. And then I have my 3000 Pioneer 3000s here on the side. But I also have a pair of Denons. I have a pair of Denons, the 5000 Denon. Have a pair of those also.
Yeah, you and Nick's must get into the debate, right?
Yeah, but like I said, I've actually had them since they first came out.
Yeah,
I've had the 5000 since I don't know when they came out, 2019. I got a couple of different mixes also. So I think next month I'm going to switch up. I have the Rain MP 2015. I have a Master Sounds Rotary, the Radius, and I have an Allen Heath Zone 96. So I have 4 mixes that I switch up, and I have a couple of controllers that I take out with me. So I have the Rain one with the moving platters, and I have a Tractor controller S4 also.
So I'm gonna read it. Your son says, "Yeah, I'm excited for Fantastic Four. I don't think Doom shows up until next year's on New Avengers. On Doomsday, you mean? I don't know. There may be like an end credit thing because Doctor Doom is the Fantastic Four main villain. So I think there'll probably be a teaser, but we'll wait and see. And everything. I'm excited for that, brother. Thanks for coming on in here, and everything. I'm excited to see your mix tomorrow. Watch your mix tomorrow, and everything. And I'm excited to bring you back for as soon as you get partnered. What do you think of that? Are you going to come back?
Yeah. You hit me up.
Absolutely.
I'll come back.
All right. Anything else you want to share? Social media?
Basically, Twitch is the platform that I'm on.
Yeah.
I haven't really done anything else anywhere else.
I know.
So I'll be 5 years in August or June. It'll be 5 years. 5 years affiliate. So we doing the house heads. What is house? That I am playing next Wednesday. I'll be on at 3 Wednesdays in a row. I'll be on at 4 p.m. So that's the 20. Hold on. I think the 22nd.
No, Wednesday is 23rd. Double check.
Okay, the 23rd, the 30th, and the 7th of May, I'll be on at 4 p.m. And this Monday, I'll be on at 6 p.m. And everything else is going to be probably a pop-up. Maybe tomorrow night, I might do a pop-up. Maybe Saturday, I might do a pop-up.
Nice.
So that's what we have scheduled. That's what I have scheduled for sure is the Wednesdays. I'll
Well,
be
look,
on at
as a
4,
DJ,
4 p.m. Eastern the next 3 Wednesdays in a row. And then we have the we have the Vibe for the Tribe Festival coming up also.
when's that?
So we set up. We have an official Twitch team called Vibes of the Tribes that was passed on to me by DJ Fatty Bally and Shinta Loves House Music. And a couple of times a year we'll throw an event. We'll throw different events like 4 times a year.
New York guys?
No, no. When a person becomes a partner on Twitch,
Okay.
they could create a team, an official Twitch team. So we have an official Twitch team called Vibes for the Tribe.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
Now that Nick is a partner, he could make a partner. He could make a team of his liking, and this is gonna be it. You see it right here. You see what it says here. Most likely, this is gonna be Nick's team. His first.
What did it say?
Huh?
I can't read it from here. What does it say?
It says Club Progressive Underground.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's our Monday. What we do on Mondays. Club Progressive Underground is our raid train on Mondays, but that's created by Nick in the Mix.
Nick's in the mix. You better go on a lot, man. By the way, I do watch you guys sometimes. I don't comment. I'm, doing stuff around the house and I have the music blasted. So I'm always supporting there and encourage everyone to support Mr. DJ Kenny. Next time he's gonna come here, he's gonna have even more followers and be partnered up. Man, thanks for coming on in here.
I appreciate you, Louis.
Appreciate you, brother.
Thank you for
Everybody
everything.
make sure to subscribe. Talk to you later. Bye-bye.
Thank you very much.